So I bought a new Nintendo 3DS XL in 2023. Let's see what it can do. Alright, so taking a look around the packaging, this actually looks really nice. So as you can see, this is the Majora's Mask Edition, the special edition console, which always looks really nice in the box. I love how Nintendo does their box art, especially for consoles like the Wii U. You had some really cool box art come out of that. But yeah, we've just got some various safety warnings, info about the device, and on the side we got some character from Zelda. I should know who that is, but I don't, unfortunately. We got Link on the front, all the different Zelda characters there. It's really nice. Let's get straight into it. We've got the Nintendo seal of quality on the side, indicating that this is a Nintendo official product. And these, interestingly, these consoles never had seals on them as far as I know. So this is basically just a case of opening it up and pulling out the contents. So let's put this down here. And we just slide everything out. Let's put this box to the side. And basically this part here just lifts up. And right here we have our console. And this model does not have a power adapter included. It's sold separately, and they do tell you that on the box, but it was kind of a bit of a sudden thing. Like they didn't really do that prior to the new 3DS. Like the original 3DS and the 3DS XL and the DSi consoles even included power adapters. But then this one just didn't, which is a bit strange, but Nintendo things. So yeah, there's not really much on the inside. There's the console itself there, and then we got some of the documentation. We got the AR cards right there. So let's pull some of this out. AR cards are really cool. I might play with these a bit in this video just to see what they can do. But you've got the you can see them there, I guess. You got the question mark block, Kirby one, Mario one, Link one. It's Metroid and something else, I can't really tell. Maybe you guys would know. But yeah, there we go. The quick start guide, operations manual. I remember reading these at one point when I was younger and had nothing to do. Yeah, that's the safety documentation and everything there. Now the console itself. So this basically just slides right out. Dump that there. And here's our first look of it. So the new Nintendo 3DS XL logo is right there. So this is also an Australian console. You'll see the Japan consoles, and I think some of the American ones, they actually had a different name for them. They were called the 3DS LL. So it was a bit of a different naming scheme, which is interesting. Here we go with the artwork on the front of it, and it looks really nice. I love how on the inside as well for this model, it's basically completely black, so it's just a standard console from the inside. You would have no idea it's special edition. But then on the outside it looks really nice. But yeah, so looking around it, you've got the new circle pad on this model of console. You've also got the NFC reader right here behind the touchscreen. Home buttons over here. Start and select buttons are in different places compared to the previous model. And that's about it. Oh, I guess the volume slider in the 3D's in the same place, but the volume slider's over here now. The new model of 3DS. The other feature it has, of course, is the better 3D effect, where it uses face tracking to kind of pull off the effect a bit better. And it does work really well from what I've heard. But yeah, looking around the back, you'll see there's something a bit strange with this one, which is this port right here, and I'll come back to that a bit later. But we've got our charger port there, a wrist strap, I guess, port there. IR is there, we've got our SL, SR, L and R buttons. Two cameras on the top. Cartridge slot here, headphone jack in the middle, which is kind of a good place for it actually. And a quite nice little stylus right there too. And I think what we'll do now is we might just power it on and see what happens. Alright, so here we are. We're on the initial setup for the 3DS, and the first thing it wants us to do is select a language. I'm going to go with English for this one. Next it wants me to calibrate the 3D, so I'm going to pull the slider up now, and I can see that it is kind of 3D, but not quite yet. So I'm going to click Next. Hold the system as shown, and while keeping this position, touch Next. Choose Activate 3D. That's pretty cool. That is very much 3D for me. A 3D image is being displayed on the upper screen. Use the depth slider on the right to adjust it, which it does do. You can see the position of your face on the upper screen. Oh, look at that. I'm moving around. This frame shows the range within which you will be able to see 3D images. Okay. Yeah, I can see as I'm moving around, it's kind of cutting in and out of 3D. It's best in the middle, about 30 centimeters away. Okay. Check that you can still see a 3D image on the upper screen when you move your head or change the viewing angle. I definitely can, up to a certain point. Done. I don't have any channels. Configure date and time settings. It is currently not 2018. It is 2023, and it is the 1st of the 7th. Well, the time is 5. Is it 24-hour time? It is. So 17:24. Enter a username. I'm just going to turn off the 3D now because I think it's a bit hard to see. My username is going to be Whisper. Okay. Date of birth. Enter your country of residence. I am in Australia today. Select your region. This one. Configure your internet settings. Oh boy. I remember this. This has a quite a catchy song in the background. Oh, what do these documents say? Oh yeah, I've read this before. Yep. I accept. Please note that data related to your usage of the system can be shared with Nintendo Group companies in the US and Japan. That's fine. Settings saved. Let's set up the internet. I love this guy. First, we need to set up an internet connection in New Connection. If you're not sure what to do, touch me with your stylus and I'll help you out. Boom, boom, boom. So we're going to go to New Connection. Let's do a tutorial. I haven't done this in a while. Where will you connect to the internet? I'll be at home. Do you have an access point at home? I do. Do I connect with wirelessly? Not currently, but it is available. So yes. Which of the following access points are you using? AOSS, wireless protected setup, or none of these? I don't think I ever saw anyone with AOSS on a router before. I'm just going to choose none of these because I don't actually have either enabled at the moment. Let's find an access point. Cool. Oh, they found one. Yep, that is indeed my one. This is the 2.4 gigahertz band that is displaying. The SSID is for 2.4 gigahertz. So we saved connection 1. That is okay. Test will now be performed. Connection test successful. User compatible software title to verify that data transmission with other users is working. Okay. Let's finish. I'm sure I want to exit. Alright, now we're on to parental controls. I don't actually know many people that use this. Even though it's baked into the initial setup, I think 90% of people just skipped over this. But it is actually quite useful. I do appreciate Nintendo for offering these controls because in some cases you just need them. Do not set. You should transfer data from your old Nintendo 3DS system before playing on this system. Otherwise, save data created for downloadable software on this system will become unusable after the transfer. So I actually will be transferring from a 2DS XL that's kind of on its way out. But I need to do a few things before that will let me actually transfer data. So let's do not transfer for now. And let's go to the home menu. Oh, here we go. The theme shop is now open. Changing the theme lets you customize your home menu with various designs and sounds. I get some examples up there. It looks pretty cool. You can visit the shop by touching home menu settings in the upper left of the screen to change themes. I don't think I actually have any available by default. I do on my Nintendo account, but not on my Fresh account here. Okay, so you can choose between at least... Look, this is more themes than the Switch has, I guess. You got black and you got all these different colors, but Switch only has black and I think white. That's it. I don't know why Nintendo hasn't bothered doing anything with the Switch like that the 3DS has. Look at notifications. We'll look at those in a minute. But for example, the 3DS comes with all these different applications that are heaps of fun. They're so well made and they have like signature music and everything in them. They're so good. So much attention to detail on this console. I love it. And then even up here, you've got all these little other things. You've got an internet browser. The Switch can't do that. You've got notifications, friend lists, game notes. Game notes is a nice detail, but the Switch does kind of have something similar with the screenshots section. Miiverse, I wish they kept that active. Let's have a look at what it does at the moment. I remember that music. The service for this software has been discontinued. Thank you for using the service. No, thank you, Nintendo. Miiverse will now close. Oh, I remember scrolling through Miiverse when I was younger, looking at all the posts on different game pages. When I was stuck in like Mario Brothers 2, I'd make a Miiverse post and I'd have an answer within 10 minutes. It was so good. But yeah, there's so much to do on here. Like without even having a game, like it comes with, I think, there's actually quite a few things you can do. There's AR games, which is definitely a playable experience. You've got Face Readers, which is a proper game. Like it's probably the equivalent of like a $10 eShop download. But it's not equivalent to a proper cartridge-based $60 game. It's not that content-filled, but this is definitely enough to keep you entertained for a few days if you had a 3DS and you had no games to go along with it. The other thing is the Street Pass Me Plaza. This is like the coolest thing. Like from every console that I've ever used, Street Pass is probably the coolest feature I've ever seen. So basically what it does is it's just if you walk past someone with a 3DS and they have enough time to communicate to each other, they don't even have to be like within, like the range is pretty good. Like you can be 30 meters apart. You don't even have to know each other. You can just walk past anyone like a stranger in the shopping center or whatever. And during that time, what will happen is data will be exchanged between the two consoles. And in Street Pass Me Plaza, for example, what you get is a bunch of mini games that you can play with other people that you've met. You can view their Mii characters they've made, some of the personal like what their favorite game is, like some personal details about them, and like it's just so good. It's such a great way to kind of play multiplayer without having an internet connection, and also kind of staying anonymous. Well, at least as anonymous as you would like to be. But yeah, let's go through some of these. So we've got the camera. Let's pull that up. Welcome to the Nintendo 3DS camera. In Nintendo 3DS camera, you can take photos and videos in both 2D and 3D. Make sure 3D slider is up so you can view them in 3D. Try to be 30 centimeters from subjects. Touch the bird for more info. Yeah, you can see here the camera isn't the best quality. I'm just gonna move around my setup a little bit just to give you an idea. I mean, it's not too bad. It's enough to play around and do some funny photos with, but it's not a excellent quality camera compared to, for example, like phones from the time. It's not amazing, but it does the job. You can do 3D photos with this as well. I think most people didn't. They kind of just ignore the fact that there were two cameras on the back, and Nintendo kind of had this idea that everyone would be using that. Some games took advantage of it, but the majority of them didn't. And yeah, it's one of those things, like there's this feature on every 3DS console ever made, but nothing really uses it, you know. Here we go. Here's a keyboard, Corsair keyboard. This is a K70 Mark II. If you pull this lever, you have all these different options. You've got low light, which I don't think is much better. Yeah, it just like chugs the frame rate. I don't really think it's any better. You got manual controls, so you can do sharpness, contrast, brightness, all of that. And yeah, that's about it. That's all you can really do in the Photos app. If you actually took a photo, let me take an example photo here. Let me just take a couple actually. Let's do one of the keyboard. All right, so you can then go in here. Oh yeah, that's another thing. You can have photos that you take show up in other 3DS games. I don't think there's many games that actually use that as well. I can't recall any in particular. Maybe Street Pass Me Plaza did it a bit, but not a ton of them did. But yeah, this photo, for example, I just took. You can go in here, you can graffiti it, you can draw all over it, put some stickers in there. Yeah, there's heaps of things like that you can do with this. All right, let me go home. And saying software suspended is just going to teach me how that works. So something else that's cool is that when you have a application suspended, even a game, you can access all these top applications up here. So Miiverse particularly was a really cool one to be able to do while you have a game suspended, because you could just upload screenshots and it was super easy. For example, you can just hold Y now and I can take a screenshot of a touchscreen or the upper screen. Not the upper screen in this particular case because it's the camera, it doesn't let you do that. But for normal applications you can. We've also got the internet browser, which is really good. At the moment, it's kind of limited. You used to be able to watch YouTube on it, but I don't think that actually works anymore. It's kind of been pushed out of the way. Outside of that, we've got notifications, friend list, game notes, all that. Let's take a quick look at game notes to give you an idea. It's so well thought out. Like, for example, the top and bottom screen are displayed at all times while you're in here. So if you're writing a note, you're just trying to reference something, like let's say the code on the screen for something you have to remember. You could just be like, oh yeah, this is 143, the code, or whatever. And you can even change that. You move them around. It's pretty cool. So I think what I'll do before we go any further is I'm going to transfer all my data from my other console. That'll be particularly good because you'll be able to see pretty much a better idea of what each application does and what it's capable of, and what it looks like once you've kind of got save data and like me characters and all that sort of thing. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. While I'm doing that, I'll also be installing custom firmware just because I already have it on my other console and I want to make sure everything gets carried across. But there's also quite a few features that you can do with that. I might show you some of the emulators, for example, that exist because they're pretty cool. Okay, so I have my old 2DS XL console here as well as the new one. So we're going to do a system transfer. So let's pull up these settings app and get this started. I'll pull it up on the new one as well. We're going to go to other settings. We go to the right again. System transfer, that's the wrong button. System transfer. System transfer. Yep, so it's going online now to check that the transfer can be performed. I always thought this was a bit of a strange step to include. I don't really like the idea of not being able to, transfer content to a new console if my old one breaks. Let's say in 5 years when Nintendo's servers have shut down for the 3DS. That's kind of a bit of a concern, but I'm not sure how it works. Maybe it's not really required. But anyway, here we are. So we're on the new one now, and this is the old one. So we're going to be transferring from a 3DS. I'm going to click agree. I'm going to go send from the system. And the other one, I'm going to go transfer from a Nintendo 3DS. I agree. And receive. It's going to say there's a convenient guide. That's fine. System is linked to a Nintendo Network ID. That's fine. That's going to want me to sign in. Alright, so I'm just going to sign into that one and I'll come back once that's done. And there you go. Now you can see it's gone through and it's come up with the new system name, which is the same. So I'm going to click that one. The transfer process will replace all data on the target system with that of this system. That's fine. Let's go OK. All right. If you have the same software on both systems, that's fine. It'll just replace it. This is kind of a really cool process. So it just shows like a little animation, I think with Pikmin, like the Wii U does. It's really interesting. You don't get to see it much because it's not often that you get to transfer from one console to another, But yeah, this is what it looks like. Okay, so the system transfer is now complete. and we should now see all of my applications on here. Awesome. So yeah, this is my custom background and all the different games and apps I had installed that I've been playing over the past few years or so on my old console. I think I've got about 100 or 200 installed at the moment. I would say around 200. Yeah, it looks like it's all here. So I'm just going to go through a few different things. The first one I want to try is Miiverse, because now that we are on custom firmware, we can use a external service called Reverse or Rverse, which is essentially just a returned version of Miiverse that has been spun up by the community. We should be able to browse some community posts. Here we are. So we have a few that are open right now. It's pretty cool. Let's take a look at the Street Pass Me Plaza one. Is this Street Pass? Oh, it's got a photo of Minecraft. Nice. McDonald's is epic. This is exactly how I remember it. Yeah, always crazy posts about things. I think this is kind of still heavily moderated by the Rverse community. But even so, I didn't know you could do photos. Look at that. Can I full screen that? Wow, I don't think the 3DS had that originally. Like, I know you could do it with Nintendo Letterbox or with whatever the successor to that was, but I didn't know that was possible with Reverse. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna give it a yeah. Yeah, anyway. Some of the applications I used the most were Street Pass Me Plaza, Mario Kart. I loved Pokemon Shuffle. I used to always use the music player. Let me just show you what I used it for, because a lot of people didn't know that you could do this, but the music player had a built-in function to actually play songs off of your SD card. You have to kind of be specific where you put the songs, but you can add a bunch of music like MP3s to your SD card and your 3DS, and it will just read them as like kind of like an iPod. Only problem is that you can't close the 3DS and listen to the music at the same time. And you also, when you open it, every time you open this app, it takes about 4 minutes to load the song list. So I'll be right back when that's loaded. And there we go. So now it's loaded all the folders, but I think once you go in them, yeah, it's supposed to check the SD card, and this takes about a minute. Yeah, and I got a few songs on here, so you can just kind of just play them on your own like this. And there's some effects you can do. You can clap, you can do all these different things. So that's the sound app. You can also do recordings in there if you want, which is built in by default. The other one I wanted to show off real quick is Street Pass Me Plaza. And my Me Plaza has quite a few characters in it. So I did get probably a few, like 3 or 4 dozen Street Passes throughout my lifetime of having a 3DS, like when it was actually more common to have one. And these are all still in my Me Plaza. Yeah, we got 342 right here. So something Nintendo used to do is they had a bunch of Mii characters assigned to Spot Pass. So if you had your 3DS in sleep mode and you were online, you'd be able to download like 80 characters at once or 40 characters, whatever the standard was. And they just kind of appear in your Mii Plaza, and you could play with some of them as if they were Street Pass characters. They were really cool. And this is also how I got to meet some of the Nintendo special characters. You should see some of them in here. They're shiny and gold. Oh, I love when people use like really cool Miis. The Homer. It's a great character. Here we go. Here's one. I met Iwata 10 years ago. Met via invitation. So I didn't meet him via Street Pass. I didn't actually go to somewhere that Iwata was at. I just got it through Spot Pass when I had my 3DS in sleep mode. But yeah, that's the Mii Plaza. And let me just have a look at the puzzle swap minigame to see what I have left here. Because you used to be able to trade puzzles with people that you met. Obviously, I don't have anyone in here right now. Let's just view progress. Yeah. I know people that have completed like all of these, and I genuinely don't know how, because the only way to get extra pieces is by getting them from people that have them, or by buying them and getting assigned random ones. So if I was to buy a bunch of puzzle pieces, not only do you have to do it one at a time, you can also get duplicates. So let's see what this gives me here. I've got a new one. Nice. But yeah, you normally get duplicates, so it takes ages to actually fill up one puzzle and complete it. There you go, it's a duplicate. But yeah, when I was younger, I was obsessed with trying to complete these. Like, I would go out of my way to go to a location that had a lot of Street Pass potential, like a lot of people with 3DSs. And this was purely just because I wanted to complete these puzzles and because I wanted to do a Street Pass quest, which is equally as cool. It's actually amazing. It was so much fun at the time because there was just nothing else like it. Yeah, what else can I show off? I mean, I could have a go at face readers, but I don't think I'll be able to with the capture card cable. If you don't know, that USB-C port I showed on the back of this console, so that was a capture card I had installed. So this console is new, but I've sent it straight to a guy over in Melbourne who has a service to mod these and install a capture card. And that's basically how you're seeing the screen right now, which is pretty cool. So hopefully with this console, I'll be able to do some streams of some different games. I do have a plan to do some for Super Mario Maker and Mario 64 and Mario Brothers 2. Let's see if I can win this. Someone else is playing as Toad. How dare they? Please let me win. Oh god. Final lap. I'm happy with third. Let's go. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can really cover in this one video, just because there's so many different applications and games and just lots to do on here. If you guys want a separate video for this that goes for like 3 hours, let me know. I'm happy to make one. There's definitely lots of different things you could go through, for sure. But yeah, that's about all I'll do for now, and hopefully I'll be able to do a stream tonight just to see if we can get some gameplay of Super Mario 64 or Mario Bros 2 or even Super Mario Maker for Nintendo 3DS. And if so, I'll see you guys there. But thanks so much for watching this video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Maybe consider joining my Discord or checking me out on Twitch. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.